Two, one. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34, and today I'm joined by Parker. Is in the building. I know he has some issues with his camera, so he'll be joining us audio only. It's all good. How you doing, Parker?
Oh, it's going great. Had a long day before me, but it's fine. We're all rested now. We're all cozy. I've got my green tea ready. Let's do this.
For sure, man. Want to thank you again for coming on and making time. Where are you from again? Go for it.
The UK. I'm from England.
That's what's up, man. Mm-hmm. I think you're the first Englander on the show. So, thanks for helping me build this thing. For the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions, some warm-up questions just to set the tone. After that, we'll jump into the main portion where I know when you signed up for this, the whole setup was that you could choose a number between 1 and 34. That's the classic way. You feel free to still do it that way. But I do have this new thing, which is the Wheel of Questions, or the Wheel of Fate. I'm still deciding the name of it. But basically, it's 1 to 34 and it spins around. Feel free to think about it. And then, when we get to it, I'll ask you again. And then after all that, we'll do some concluding questions. Sound good to you, Parker?
Mm-hmm. That sounds great.
All right, man. Well, I know you kind of touched the surface on this, but let me really ask you, how have you been? You've been doing great. You've been doing well. I don't know how it is in the UK right now. In America, we're kind of treating the quarantines, we're past that and we're trying to move back to normal. But how's life been for you out there?
Yeah. So yesterday, the 19th, the government said, we'll have almost no corona kind of virus restrictions. You can walk around without a mask on. I haven't seen anything of that really. Everyone still wears a mask, so it hasn't changed much, even though it was meant to, yesterday. But that's fine. The one thing that's petrifying is that there's a massive heat wave, like 30 degrees centigrade, and no one can survive this. It's really, really hot.
Is that normal? Yeah. Is like a heat wave during this time? No, not at all.
No, it's usually cold, like 10 degrees, maybe like 20 pushing it. So being 10 degrees above the maximum is just, it's painful. But we go through, we live.
For sure. I'm just curious. Has this the heat wave been building up over the past few years, or has this been like the first summer where it feels like it's going crazy?
It has definitely been building up, but this has been a massive step up since the last time. I think it was about 16-ish last year. Now we're up to 30. That's like almost double, if my math is correct. I mean, that's a massive step. And the winters have gone colder as well. So I think it's gone to the very extremes on both sides.
I gotcha. I don't want to get too political, but since I don't know what's going on over there in the UK, how do you feel about the current state of efforts in, battling climate change? Because I know it's a whole world issue type thing. I can't say America's doing better than anybody else, but in your opinion, how you guys doing out there?
So it's definitely better than most European countries. I will say that. I'm originally from Poland, so I'm allowed to kind of critique it. Poland, they still use coal in houses, so they emit a lot of smoke through that way. And I'm glad that England doesn't do that as much. So that's really good, and cutting down the greenhouse emissions, carbon dioxide. But other than that, I don't know. I think they've put a lot of solar panels up around my area. But apart from that, I haven't seen much.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I really do think it's going to be a slow, even though it should go faster, it's going to be a slow change that we'll be going through. But, we'll hopefully, I'm sorry to hear that you guys going through some crazy extremes right now. And hopefully you find a way to enjoy the heat somehow.
Yeah, we've got some plans. It should be all right. But yeah, I know in America a lot of people have pools and AC. Here, no AC. Pools, you can buy like a little paddling pool from Asda if you want. Pump that up. But
I gotcha. All right, man. We'll move on to some warm-up questions. My first question for you is, what would you like the audience to know about you?
Well, like just in general.
In general, man. Like I allow my guests to kind of take this question whichever way they want. Some people, talk about what they do for a living. Some people just talk about, their passion, their interests. So really, what would you like the folks out there to know about you?
Okay, so yeah, I'll kind of branch out from your career kind of prompt. I am a student in England, as I said, and I'm doing my A-levels. Well, I've picked my choices to do A-levels, and those are English literature, chemistry, biology, and French. And when you say I'm doing French for A-level in England, everyone goes fucking wild, because if you're doing a language at A-level, you're mad, right? It's one of the hardest things to do, and then especially when you have really hard subjects, just biology and chemistry. It's going to be very hard the next 2 years, but they're all subjects that I like to do, so it should be all right. Previously, you had physics on that list as well, but I just find it boring for some reason. We had some tests about 7 months ago, and I just kept yawning on the tests there. I just, like, every page, there were some really weird questions. I could not stand it. So that's my stance on school subjects. Yeah.
For sure. When you say A-level, or if you're gonna, I guess, compare it to where you're at in school with, the American system, would you say you're in that high school level or college level? Yeah.
So I'm 16. So wherever you'd be in America, I know it's, is it college? I think. Not college. That's university. No.
Sorry. Yeah. It is high school out here, and most folks who are 16 are usually in their second or third year of high school, and it's a four year thing out here. So yeah, I got you. So in the UK, are you guys like expected to go to university right after A-level, or when you're done with the school?
Yeah, most people say, I'll go to university. Oh, you're going to go to Cambridge? All right, good fucking luck. Oh, Oxford? Yeah, you'll never do that. Yeah, it's kind of a joke among us. Well, apart from that, there's the option of being an apprentice and doing that, but not many people do so. I mean, it's a good path to take. You get the experience, whilst at university you don't really get that. I've got some friends who are really pushing the apprenticeship side, because they just critique the university side. They're like, why would you go to university? There's no experience of the job, you get nothing useful out of it. But I'm kind of the kind of guy that's just lax. I don't really care. If I get to a good university, that's cool, that'll be fine. I'm thinking about Cambridge, because they've got the Footlights, and that's like a very prestigious drama place, where you can do like stand-up comedy, and it's fairly big, fairly well known. And if you get into the Footlights, you've got a path in comedy for sure.
Is that what you're thinking of, pursuing, or you have some interest in, is doing some entertainment thing?
Yeah, I really like entertainment. I might go towards medicine or law as well, if the comedy side doesn't really hold up. But yeah, I think comedy is more of a side project.
I gotcha.
More than anything else. Yeah.
So your plan A would be either
medicine or law. Sorry, yeah, I phrased that terribly.
You're fine.
Yeah, medicine or law would be the main option, and then the comedy side is like a nice side project, either being a cool co-worker or
I got you.
Being myself.
Yeah. Now, do you I'm sure you've heard successful people I do quotations because, you know, they're just folks that we see as successful, but they talk about not having a plan A or a plan B, right? They kind of, sometimes they talk about putting all your eggs in one basket and, you know, believing in yourself and, you know, going for it. How do you feel about that?
I like to do that only in times where it's like, you know, when you're in a group of friends and they're all like, hey, we need something fun to happen. And at that point, I would do something like that. Just put all the eggs in one basket, you know, make it fun. If I lose, then I can, you know, make fun of me being a loser. If I win, I'm a fucking hero. In those situations, I like to just go big or go home. But in general life, I don't know. I really like to plan things out, I think. So I have, you know, a structured layer system, you know, A, B. If there's a Z, then something's definitely going to go wrong along the way.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Just because, you know, like, obviously I'm doing this podcast, but I have to have a day job too. And it goes hand in hand, you know, if you can kind of like fulfill your life with all those things. If you're going to be, you know, doing medicine and then at night doing your stand-up comedy, that would be kind of crazy and a fulfilling life. So, and plus you know, I'm sure you've been told this a bunch of times since you're only 16 and you know, you have a lot more experience to gain and to really decide what you want to do. I don't know, I believe you're the youngest person who's come onto the show, so you have that title. But I was gonna ask, would you say at your age right now, because I'm 31 and, you know, we're part of different generations, but is there pressure on you guys to figure out what you want to do early now, or is it more like, you know, you have the space to figure it out?
I think that there's two like different viewpoints of this. Where I'm right now with the A-level stuff, depending on what A-levels you pick, decide what courses you can do at university. That's the kind of thought process behind it. You know, if you don't do biology and chemistry at A-levels, then you can't do medicine in a university, because those are the two required A-levels. So right now we are kind of pressured to think about what we're going to do in the future, but also we're not, because you can pick really general A-levels, such as, like I said, chemistry. That'll get you into pharmacy, that'll get you into medicine, but that's also looking good for law because of your logical thinking, your experiments and all that. If you pick English literature, that opens you for journalism, for like a lot of social jobs. So you can, if you pick your A-level smart, you can have a lot of choices in 2 years' time and not be pressured right now into what you want to do.
I got you. So there's some wiggle room, at least, to have that flexibility.
If you pick wisely, yes. Unless you pick some of the really small subjects like law A-level, medicine A-level, then you're really constricted into one career path, because that's what you're building for yourself.
I got you. That's interesting, man. It sounds like a totally different approach to the school system that I encountered as I was growing up here in California. College was preached to us, and I could see, you know, you were talking about the shift over there as you have more people talking about doing apprenticeships. I think that's coming back here also in the States. I think, you know, college is great for connections, for networking, for you know, practicing social skills and just getting involved in your community, which, you know, I think is a huge part of the human experience, is to give back. But aside from that, you know, I think an apprenticeship is just as worth it, you know, like the same points you kind of pointed out as far as getting that experience. And like, I think just the education you'll get from a mentor. Like that mentor apprenticeship, apprentice relationship is a lot more fruitful than, you know, being in a classroom where things are, I don't know what your experience has like been like in education, but in a classroom setting, it's more like the topics are just touched on. There's never like a full in-depth kind of way of learning
there's no
things.
background to it. Like you'll say, hey, this is calculus. We're not going to use it. You'll figure that out. You'll use it, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
if you're in an apprenticeship, you're like, okay, in this situation, we would use calculus. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's do it. And then you would actually apply in the real life situation.
And they would answer your questions about it, you know, instead of just saying, oh, this is just the standard. Everyone has to do this. But yeah. All right. Let's move on to the second warm-up question, which is, if someone were to pay you a tribute, how would you like to be honored? You know, if I was going to tell myself today I'm going to do something in the honor of Parker, what could I do in your honor?
Oh, this is a great question. Wow, how did you come up with these?
This one, man, I just kind of thought about, you know, I think through this time, the whole quarantine corona time, you know, we lost a lot of people. And it's just one of those questions where, like, you know, I never got to ask that question to that person. So now I feel like I should ask everyone just in case, you know.
Right. Wow. So on one side, you don't want to be like Neo God. Yeah, I don't want to be like, hey, everyone needs to pray to me on a red mat, because that would be a bit weird.
Yeah. This is a small act.
I also don't want to be a cultist. You know, I don't want everyone to say Parker 5 times in front of a mirror at 2 a.m. There's a very fine line between the massive extremes. I don't know, something fun. Like, what are my hobbies? Maybe like writing a story and then having Parker as a main character would be fun.
Wow,
and then they just share that with everyone. They're like, hey, this is what Parker did in my story. That'd be cool.
That's pretty dope, man. I like that. That's profound. For sure. Now we know to write a little story with you as a character. I feel
yeah, it's either that or print a picture of me and then shoot arrows into it, the bow and arrow. You know, it's one of the two.
Depending on who's thinking of you, right? It depends on the person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned writing stories. You write stories yourself?
Yes, I wrote a couple, but there's also a lot of them that are just on my laptop, unfinished, because I don't actually know. I think I just lost the motivation to do so. But in year 9, so I don't know how I would translate that into the American school system. I'll just say grade 9 to make it easy.
You could do age. Teacher. You could do age, so I get a better idea.
So 16, 15, 14, when I was 14 years old.
Gotcha.
Our teacher said, everyone write a detective story and I'll do something with it. So, okay, sure. The whole year group was writing a detective story, but our teacher told us to finish it as well, to get to the very end. So I was like, okay, sure, we'll do that. And each day he would take his book out and be like, all right, how many words are you on? And, you know, tick it off and see how much people have progressed. And at the very end, he took all these books and said, there's going to be a little parents' evening. And anyone that wants to come can go to the hall. Parents will come in and you'll tell them about your story. There'll be a little exhibition. Okay, that was pretty cool. I was able to talk about my story. It was have you heard of Phoenix Wright?
Phoenix what?
Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it was basically that. It's like a Phoenix Wright. It's like a court game where you're inside a courtroom and you fucking show evidence and you act cool.
I got you. I can imagine that.
Yeah. It was basically that I stole a bunch of the names from there, but kind of just twisted the narrative to be different. And so most of the ideas were already there. I just kind of wrote it all down, changed the story a bit, and that was fun. After the little parents' evening, he unexpectedly came to 5 of us and said, yours is going to be in the library, in the kind of local library. And I was like, okay, fuck, that's big. Sure. So he took our books, he kind of printed them out, made them look presentable, and yeah, took them to the library, and they were there for about a month, and people put post-it notes and wrote what they liked about it. So I got a bunch of them just saying, I can't wait for part 2, because at the very end of the story I wrote to be continued. I'm not going to write a second part to this story, probably ever, but you know, it was good to put it to be continued anyways, just to put some of the anticipation up there. But yeah, I really like that he thought so creatively and actually reached out to the local like library to do that. That was great.
Yeah, that sounds like a great teacher, bro. Like,
he left after the year, but yeah, he was a great teacher.
Yeah, he had a vision of how he was going to impact your life, and he executed. So, yeah, that was a dope lesson. So that was your first story, and you wrote a second one just for fun afterwards?
So afterwards I wrote I say wrote, it's like an 1/8 of the way through. Completely different. It's about some science fiction stuff that was inspired by The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And yeah, I got through it. It was like I was reading through it about a month ago, and it was hilarious. I forgot that I wrote half the jokes in there, and it was great. I might pick it up again at some point, but the A levels in the next 2 years are going to be so strenuous. I might not be able to get to them, and might not be able to get to the story.
No rush.
So I might have to wait for a while.
No rush, man. I mean, you know, let's say you finish this next book in 10 years from now, right? And at that point, you could be like, yo, this book has been 10 years in the making. It makes it even sound more epic, you know?
Exactly. 8 of the years, nothing happened, but still. See, the ideas, I'm just getting ideas at the point.
it was back there, man, but you know, like you got different priorities right now, but yeah, keep that creative flame, which honestly through this conversation I don't think you'll have a problem doing, but keep that creative flame alive as you get older. I mean, for me, it's something that I've been trying to keep lit in myself, and at my age I can see a lot more of people around my age struggling to keep that flame lit up. So
I can see by the pictures behind you. You've got some. Oh yeah. Is that yours? Did you draw that, or?
I did not draw these, but I do appreciate. I appreciate art. I am a sucker for you know, if I go to a flea market or if I go to a place where artists are just selling their stuff, I'll end up buying something if I like it, just because, you know, they're giving something to the world, and I want to show that's appreciated. And yeah, all that stuff is just stuff I've collected from, you know, friends and you know, just random people. But yeah,
it's a nice backdrop. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm sure every artist appreciates that comment too. But yeah, man, my last question for you in this warm up is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's a great question. So 10 being I know myself perfectly, 1 being who am I, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I'll say has to be above 5, because below that would be a bit, you know, help me. I'd say the most commonly picked number, 7.
I gotcha. Yeah. Why would you say a 7? Why'd you land there?
So, yeah, like I hinted before, I don't know if I want to do medicine or law. So I'm still kind of mixed between do I want to go down a more scientific route or a more like a law is more social, right? It's more talking with people. It's kind of more communicative career. So I still don't know if I'm more of a science guy or more of a talking guy. And that's a pretty big aspect of someone's personality. If they're more of a nerd or if they're more of a talker. And so if I don't know that, then that's knocking a couple points out. I'm definitely not a pure science person, because at the beginning of the year, like a month or two ago, we were picking our A-levels. I keep going back to this, I don't know why. We were taking them, and I picked all the sciences, maths and further maths. And I hated it. I hated it at the induction that we had, these kind of like trial lessons to see if we would be able to manage it. I hated all the sciences and maths. It was way too strenuous, and I just felt bored because there was no creativity in that. So, yeah, I because I don't know if I'm more of a talky person or more of a science guy, that deducts a couple points.
For sure, I gotcha. And I don't know, maybe it's just where you are right now in your life, but it definitely doesn't sound like you're a science guy, just from that story that you just told me. And I'm not trying to be discouraging at all. I'm just want to let you know how it sounded coming. The story from the side.
That's good to know.
But yeah, man. And honestly, I think it is. It has to do with where you are in this part of your life, because you never know. Things can change. A year from now, something inspires you, something motivates you to really get down with science. And who am I to say that doesn't happen for you? But you keep trying. I think you're definitely at that stage where you have all the options available to you. I don't know if you're feeling any pressure from yourself or from any other outside people, and I don't know how much they may influence you, but yeah, just remember it is your journey. Go ahead.
A couple of weeks ago, I wrote to my aunt, who's an accountant, and I said, "Hey, how would I get into accountancy?" And she replies back, and she says, "You are way too good to be an accountant." So there's definitely a pressure to be something, presumably above an accountant. I mean, I think accountants are a really highly regarded profession. I don't know what she was trying to say there, but yeah, so there's definitely some pressure to do something.
Yeah. Did you feel that way from like all your family members? They kind of want you to be greater, or I don't know if that's the word, but yeah, like to reach some certain level that nobody else in the family has reached.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely that kind of aspect to it, because no one in my family really has a degree from a university, so I think there is a bit of pressure there. Like when I go around saying, I might want to be a doctor, everyone's like, oh, okay, well, let's get some of the fucking best food out, get some of the wine. Let's be good to this guy. And I'm like, okay, cool. But my parents don't really care about my grades right now, which is cool. I really like that. I have a lot of freedom. If I don't get an A or a B, they don't, come around with the whip. It's fine. It's good. So, yeah, there's definitely a pressure to get to somewhere good, but not the pressure on the journey to that place, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I got you, man. And honestly, I think I felt similar pressure. Grew up an only child. My folks, immigrated from the Philippines out here to the States. They didn't have the best education, so they built this whole like vision for me to go to college, get my degree, and to reach a level that they hadn't, right? And yeah, man, I would just say you can't escape the pressure. As much as I'd wanted to say like, don't think about it and I think it's different when it comes with family. I mean, it sounds like your folks are supportive. Like they're giving you that space to kind of figure it out, which is awesome. But yeah, just keep that balance. Keep the balance of knowing that you do feel obligated to reach that level, but also that this is your life and this is your journey. So
Yeah.
As much as other people want to make it about them, it's about you. So yeah. All right, man. Before we move on to the next question, actually my follow-up to this question is, what is your favorite thing about yourself, personality wise?
I like that I'm really straightforward with myself. Now, this is the thing I've been thinking a lot, because what I really want to do is tell people, hey, if you don't like what you're doing right now, just stop and just go, just move on, because that's what I do. And I can do that because I'm really straightforward with myself. Like, if I'm reading a book and I'm like, I'm not understanding anything that I'm reading right now, I'll drop it. I'm not concerned that I won't get to a certain page at the end of the day. If I don't understand it, what's the fucking point? I'll do something else. Or like, if I'm watching a series on Netflix and I'm like, I can't be asked to do anything, but also I'm not learning anything by watching Netflix. Shut the fuck up, Parker. Let's do something. I'll then, jump out of my seat and I'll do something. And I'm just really straightforward with myself. I'm like, no, do it. No. Or like, if I'm about to go up on stage, I'll just say to myself, fuck it. Go up. And then all my stress just kind of drops. And I do it. I like how I'm really straightforward with myself.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
You think you've always been that way? Since you were I know you're young, but when you were even younger, were you always straightforward with yourself, or how's something you came to realization like, nah, I need to change. I need to do this more.
Yeah, this was during high school. I kind of looked around at everyone and realized I'm not making any friends, and I should really be making friends. That's like the main thing that you should do at school. All right, well, I'm scared to go up to those people and talk to them. Fuck it. And I just went up and did it. In primary school, I was more of a shy guy. I didn't really go up to people. I didn't join many clubs. So I think I learned from all those years of just doing nothing to actually do stuff now. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, man. I mean, that's one thing as I learned as I got older too, is that a lot of people out there, they might feel lonely, they might feel like they don't belong, but it really does take being social and kind of putting yourself out there to find the people who are like you in a way, find your community. So I'm glad you kind of experienced that quickly, and it sounds like you reached that, you're able to get that mindset of like, fuck it, like, gotta be true to myself, which is important. All right,
kind of links to the put all the eggs in one basket thing. Like, fuck it, yeah, I'll do it. Like, yeah, if you put all the eggs in the basket, you're like, yeah, if it all fails, it's fine.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, life does go on, but you gotta pick and choose your battles too, right? Because same thing with me. I never put all my eggs in one basket, and it's still hard for me to do that. But maybe I'll get to a point where I can do that.
I always reference one story, and it was when I was meant to go to a doctor in Poland, and we were on a train, and my mum fell asleep. So we were just kind of going. I realized, we're meant to leave here. But mum knows when she went to go off. So I'll just stay quiet. So we go down another 2 stations. Mum wakes up. Hey, I think we should have walked off already. Yeah, really? Interesting. Cool. Should we go off now? Yeah, we should probably do that. So we walked off. We were in this little village, nowhere. We went to be in this fairly big city. We were in this really small fucking town. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'm in a shit position right now, but I'll blink an eye and I'll be there. The time will fly that fast. It will resolve itself. We'll finally get there. And yeah, about an hour later, we were at the place we were meant to be. And yeah, just that was great. You know, I just soldiered on. There you go, that's the word. And yeah, like cool. I don't know why I wanted to.
No, you're fine, man. You're fine. You know, it just sounds like you were just talking about how, you know, persevering and kind of like, if you're not tripping off what's happening, then you're gonna get to the end point eventually. Yeah. I think for me, I would kind of relate that to just being forward thinking. You know, I'm in a similar way, the same. Where if an issue comes up, I'm not really like, okay, that happened, or what are we gonna do about it though? Like, you know, I can't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. You can't really like think too much on the issue anymore when you're trying to find a solution.
It is kind of bad, because when someone dies, like a family member, I'm like, they're dead. I can't do anything about it. Why should I be sad? Me crying won't do anything. He will still be dead. And it kind of plays badly because everyone's crying, everyone's emotional, and they're kind of weirded out that I'm not. So in that regard, it's fairly bad, but everywhere else, it's just a good mentality.
That's interesting, man. I mean, feel free if you don't want to talk about it, but you've ever felt that way before, where, you know, someone was missing, and because I'll just let you know a little story about my stuff is that you know, I had grandparents that passed away, right? But I never knew them at all. So you know, I ended up like falling asleep at their funeral, and I really like, yeah, it made me feel terrible after I woke up though, and I was like, man, like, what is wrong with me to not feel anything after these people have passed away, even though they were important to a lot of folks. And you know, knock on wood, I haven't really had that feeling just yet, you know, in my adult life, throughout my life. But I really think it depends on how the closeness, you know, you have with that person. Because you know, I don't know if you watched the whole like Marvel universe and stuff on Disney, which they had that line about grief, and how grief is like love persevering. Like you don't want to let it go, so it hurts you more to think of somebody that's been around and are gone. So yeah, I think it depends on that for me. But yeah, have you had any experience?
I haven't had anyone that was really close to me die. So maybe that is a factor. Like the only people that I have attended every person that I've attended a wedding. What is this sentence? Well, every funeral that I attended to had someone that I didn't know very well. Like when I was, I think 8, and I remember just being really hungry. So I just ignored everything that was going on around me. It's just massive procession. I don't know why. Maybe it was a really famous person in my family. I just kept asking my mum if there's any food. And that's literally my only memory of that funeral. Is there any food? And then she just gave me some bubble gum, and that was fine. I forgot everything after that. And the most recent one, I just didn't know my grandfather very well. So it wasn't that sad.
I hear you, man. I'm the same way. Or that experience played out the same way for me too. I was gonna say, and also you gave me that story about when you were 8. I don't know how many 8-year-olds are gonna like feel something at a funeral. You know, they kind of go there and like, oh cool, my cousins are here, my family's here.
Exactly.
So,
family reunion, let's go.
yeah. So don't be so hard. If you are hard on yourself about that, don't feel too bad. And you know, the grandfather thing, right? I don't know if it's ever been sparked in you as far as thinking about, you know, what if I was like my grandfather in some way? Because I never got to know mine either. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, I think there's something to that ancestral energy, you know, or like, I guess this is one of the questions that would come up, but what do you think about the afterlife? What do you think happens after this portion, if you don't mind talking about it?
The afterlife. Well, I'm a Christian Catholic. I don't know what the difference is between Christian and Catholic. I just do it interchangeably. If someone says if I'm Catholic, I'll say yeah. If someone says I'm Christian, I'll say yeah. Except I don't really know what the difference is. So I want to believe that there's something afterwards, like God in the afterlife. Because it'd be very sad if this was just, oh no, this is something that I keep thinking of at night and it haunts me and I never go to sleep. Because this isn't a game, right? The life we have right now, it's not you can't just restart over. Once we die, there'll just be a void of nothingness after us, right? If God isn't real. And I just don't want to accept that, you know? Like I die, my soul is, if the soul even exists, it's just, you know, not there anymore. Cool. I'm now in the middle of space. Can't do anything, can't see anything, can't hear anything. Will I go back to Earth? Probably not. What am I going to do here until the Earth gets destroyed? Okay, Earth got destroyed just right now. Now what? I'm still nothing. Cool. Universe collapses. Cool, I'm still here. Now what? I just don't want. Oh, I don't want that to happen. Oh.
Yeah, man.
That's the most probable thing. It scares me.
It is the great unknown. So yeah, it can be scary. And honestly, you know, the way you described it made me think about whether it's not scary for me. I feel like I'm trying to find peace in not knowing, but me believing that we are energy that kind of comes in and out of, you know, different forms, right? Like we were once the earth, we were once, I sound so hippie. I sound so hippie-ish talking about it this way, but it's something I do believe in it. But I believe in God too. I was raised Catholic and went to Catholic school. Not my entire education, but a good portion. So something in me, no matter like how much people want to change my belief system, will always believe that there's some higher power that's out there. Right now it's just God and the universe is synonymous to me. If I'm praying to the universe, I'm praying to God, and vice versa. But
because there's not much to lose if you pray to God. If he doesn't exist, then okay, you just prayed a bit. That's cool. A bit of self-reflection can't hurt. If he does exist, fantastic. Congratulations, you win. So there isn't really much of a downside to a religion unless you get persecuted in your country. Then that's like a downside, obviously.
That's that, and you know, just the whole judgment thing that comes with religion. Like, I mean, I dislike the fact that, you know, people have to be like, no, what we say is the right thing and what you're saying is the wrong thing. The whole disagreement stuff, I think it's higher than that. It's higher than just like these two different point of views, but people just want to stay at that level instead of really talk about what myself and I think a lot of other people think would be more important. But yeah, just a heads up, man, we have about 10-15 minutes left in the interview. We haven't even got I think it's been a great conversation, man. I hope you know, this has been a little bit fun for you, if anything, just to practice talking, you know. But
in fact, I got one more story.
Go for it.
Just to give us even less time for the actual questions.
No worries. Go for it.
You talk about an ancestral link, and actually, the day before my grandfather died, I had a dream about him dying, but it was a really weird way of, like, the message was really weird. I was at the doctor's office with just 3 animals. I think it was like a snake, a lion, and a dog that died a couple of years back. I went to the doctor and they just put a blanket over the whole thing. And then, cool, okay, nice. I then went back to my room and I placed the whole contraption down. The doctor told me not to unfold, reveal it, just to leave it as it is. And and the snake would peek out of the blanket and then try and fall off of the bed. Like he'd go onto the post, he'd try and like jump off, and I'd keep just, you know, holding it, throwing it back into the covers, until at one point it just fell off the bed. I woke up and then Mum says, your grandfather fell out of bed and he died. I'm like, oh no, did I do something? Shit.
Damn. Yeah.
So that was crazy.
That's gonna be one of those things that's just gonna pop up in your mind the older you get. just thinking if it meant anything. Yeah. Wow. I mean, in my opinion, I think that did mean something. You know, I'm a big dreamer too. If things happen in my life, there's like some kind of accompanying dream with it. So I can't help but believe that meant something. Which animal was the one that came out of the bed?
Snake.
You know, maybe that was your grandfather's like spirit animal or something, you know. Anytime you see snakes, you could kind of associate it with your grandfather. Who knows?
Oh fuck, no one realized. Yeah. And then I looked down again, and you know, the blanket, it transformed into a dog. And in fact, we gave my grandma a new dog because the old one died, and we wanted her to have some company. And so it's kind of like the dog replaced him, and it's kind of sad thinking about it like that. But yeah, it all comes full circle.
Yeah. You know, I don't necessarily think it's a sad thing. You know, I think your grandfather's energy's out there in different ways, in you and your grandmother, and his kids too, and just your dream signifying that change from a snake into a dog. You know, that's like more foreshadowing. You feel me? Like you guys got your grandma a dog after that too. So in my mind, it kind of all aligned together and painted this picture. So yeah, man, it's crazy. Thanks for that story.
Yeah, welcome.
All right, man. Well, you know, we don't have to do too many questions. Let's see if we could just get even one. But we've reached the main, not the main anymore, but
the main part. That's good.
We made it to the question part. You could choose your own fate, like the classic way, or would you like to go to the Wheel of Fate?
So, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go with the Wheel of Fate. I'm feeling daring.
All right, here we go. So there's each line is like a number and a level. So it'd be like 23 easy or 15 hard, just to let you know. So here we go. Give it a spin. $32 easy. All right. Your question is, what community or communities do you identify with?
You say this one's easy.
Okay.
You say this one's easy. It's really not. What communities do I identify with? None. I don't think.
Really? All right.
I think it's just my local community, but that's like, yeah.
Like
this is.
I was gonna say, is there like a neighborhood that you could kind of be like, oh, this is my hometown, or this is where I'm from, you know, anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my local community, but I'm gonna say it out now. I'm not a homosexual. I'm not into LGBTQ. I'm not part of the LGBT community.
I got you.
Fuck.
I got you.
Let me just get a drink. And I'm not a furry. I'm not in the furry community. Those are the ones that immediately come into my head. And yeah, when you asked that question, I was like, yeah, I'm not part of any of those.
I got you. And I didn't mean it that way, but more so
fuck.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I guess a better way I can phrase this is like, where would you say you feel like you belong? You know, do you feel like you're part of your church community, or church community, or even your school community. If you the bond with you and your classmates, could be that kind of community. But yeah,
I don't know why, but I just have a connection with France for some reason. Like, I'm learning French, I really like it, and I just get random bursts of motivation to learn French for some reason. I think I just really want to go there. I want to, study something there. If I could go do that, that'd be great.
Have you been to France yet?
I have on a school trip. Yeah. I'll tell you a quick story again. We went to this little market, and they said, yeah, just go buy whatever you want. Or just, talk to the French locals, improve your French. Sure, okay. What do you expect from teens? We went up to a little stand, and they were selling plastic guns. So we're like, yeah, we can get plastic, we can shoot each other in the dorms. Let's fucking do it. We buy them, we kind of go up to the teachers, we hide it all. And then there's one snitch, and he tells, hey, I think they've got the plastic guns, and it might be a danger to us when we go past the border. And the teachers, they fucking confiscate everything. Some people bought little pocket knives, so they took that as well. It's just such a meme in our school now. Don't buy any plastic guns when you're there.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yo, man, I think you got something with those voices that you've been dropping every once in a while in the interview. You've been doing that for a while? Like, trying to do impersonations and whatnot?
Yeah, I just like playing into a character. That's why I like playing D&D and stuff like that, because you can actually, role play. It has a really weird... When I say role play, what do you associate that with?
I mean, there's I think of it as like, I guess, you know what, I think we call them LARPers out here. Is that role playing, LARPing?
No clue what LARPing is.
Yeah, so what else? So role playing to me, I think of costumes, cosplay. I think of like, I don't know, I guess the board games as well. And then I think of video games, RPGs, role-playing games.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think about when I think of role-playing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So anytime I say role-play, they just think of, oh, you're a furry. You want to do some furry stuff. I'm like, no, because D&D is really cool. I'm the dungeon master. That again sounds bad. I'm the GM, the game master, who just organizes the whole story. And so being able to say, yeah, you go to a shop and you meet this fairly politically correct, plus-sized person, and he speaks out to you. Do you want to buy any potions? And then it's just really cool to actually build a character for everyone, and just the creativity. I like it. It's cool.
That's sick, man.
Great.
So those voices started coming up from playing those kind of games for you?
Yeah. If I'm like, oh, there's a skinny wizard. Hello, I'm Griswold, and I like making fucking potions, so I'll make your head explode.
For sure.
Just some eccentric shit like that. I love it.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to play, or not play, but to take part in any role playing games. To be honest with you, but yeah, it's one of those experiences that I've yet to have. As far as you, an experienced person, a dungeon master, is it annoying for you guys to have like a new person come in and you have to explain everything to them?
Sometimes. I tried my hardest to get some people into our sessions, because I think that would be really fun to play with if they got to know all the rules and were actually enjoyed it. But the hardest bit, I think it's the same with podcasting, is for them to actually turn up. I heard a lot of things with podcasts, people don't turn up, and that's really annoying, especially after you spend about an hour with them making a character on D&D, and you say, all right, yeah, come in next Friday, and we'll actually put your character to use. I'm like, yeah, sure, all right, that's fine. Next Friday. Yeah, so I need to have a shower for 2 hours. So I can't come, you know. I'm going to the museum right now, so I mean I kind of can't do it. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most annoying part. If they actually start playing, I think there's a higher chance of them actually staying for the full thing.
I gotcha. Yeah. And my last question on the topic, I'm just curious, how long does a typical, you know, gathering last?
So a typical session, maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
Because yeah.
That's not as long as I thought it'd be. For some reason in my mind I thought it was like, you know, an all day thing. Some epic conquest that lasts all day, you know?
Yeah, we have a couple jokes with our GM, because I also play another game where I'm a player, not an actual dungeon master. And we just say, all right, when's the all day session coming up? Yeah, when's that happening? Oh, well, you have school to go to. Nah, fuck it. Saturday, great. Do you have any time to plan? No. Well, fuck. Just make some shit up. So that's why it's cool.
That's what's up, man. I didn't know there was so much pre-planning that had to go into it before it.
Yeah, it's basically writing a book, but you don't write anything and you just tell it with you. You know, with the characters, with just, you know, oh, you find a healing potion here in the middle of a cave. I wonder how it got here. Then people will need to decipher, oh yeah, there's probably a mage coming down here, and maybe this is the way he, you know, took his route. There's a secret passage here to a dragon's lair. Maybe the mage went to visit the dragon and he just dropped a healing potion. Okay, that's cool. And then you can make so many things with the template of D&D. It's great.
I gotta try it out, man. I gotta try it out. Just a heads up, we made it to the final stretch of the podcast.
I should probably not do that. It's midnight. My neighbors will hate me.
You could tell them you was on a show, so you know if they ask you.
Sorry, Steve. Anyway, yeah.
All right, man. Well, once again, just want to thank you before we jump into it, and yeah, before the questions, there's this thing that I'm doing called the 34th mantra, where I ask my guests to fill in this phrase to create a mantra on the show. And the phrase is, I am blank, I can blank, I will blank. How would you fill that in for yourself?
So each blank can be a different word, right? It doesn't have to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Could we take it sentence by time? So what's the first one, sorry?
I am.
Oh, there's so many weird options that I could pick.
Be you, man. Don't
I am
judgment.
me. No, that'd be a bit weird. Just to go the very ordinary route, I am Parker, but that's a bit boring. I'm Brit. Very literal things that you could get. Anything creative. I am a. This is a really hard thing to do for some reason. I am a. Can I change the A to the?
Yeah.
I am the hero of my own story.
It's dope. That's dope. I can blank is the second one.
I can conquer my fears.
And the third one is I will blank.
I will bring joy to the world.
Dope, man. Dope. I dig the message. And if you ever need a reminder, now you got this little soundbite of yourself, you know, letting you know or reminding you. But yeah, if anything, it'll be your 16-year-old self reminding you about.
Exactly.
All right. Moving on to the final stretch questions. This next one is from my previous guest. Shout out to Arthur. His question for you is, if you ever thought about what you could do for your fellow man, what would you do?
first of all, big up Arthur. Thank you for giving me this question. What could I do for my fellow man? What is this? So when he says my fellow man, does that mean humanity overall, or is it like an individual person that would come up to me? What would I hope to do for him?
I believe he meant humanity, but you know, you could take it any which way you want.
I would want to, like, the reason I want to do medicine is to just be useful and develop cures for shit. So I would want to just, this is hard as well. I would want to just, it's such a generic thing to say help people. It's so generic. I don't know if I can be any specific than that.
Nah, man, you're fine. You know, it starts with that, honestly, for me, and I still kind of don't know. My day job, man, I work for a school, so I work with high schoolers like yourself, at least here in the States. And yeah, and for the longest time, I told myself I just wanted to help people. It didn't matter what. And you could kind of, in my experience, I've had 15 jobs in like 10 years. So I was trying to help people everywhere I went, no matter what job I was into, because that's all I really cared about, right? But, you know, I forgot where I was going with that, to be honest. I was just going to say that for me, helping people got defined a lot later, you know? Like now, at this point, I know for sure that I just want to help out the youth or help out kids and, you know, kind of be, they have that phrase of be the person you wished you had when you were a kid. At least people my age, that's what we think about. So, yeah. So
it's like start with the big idea and then over time you'll go into the specific branches. And then you'll specialize in that.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad you want to help people, because there's some people out there who want to hurt people. So we need to even out the scales, you know.
When you say that, it just reminds me of when my friend said, I want to go vegan. So I said, okay, I'll eat double the meat just to counteract your veganism.
Yeah. I feel you. Same principle, man. Same principle. Yeah, where will all the meat go? You know, if everyone.
Exactly.
My second question for you is, what would you like to ask the next guest that comes down to 34 questions?
Okay, this has to be a kicker. Can this be like anything?
Absolutely,
like any
anything.
subject.
Absolutely anything. Heavy,
okay.
Light, it's up to you.
Don't know if I can beat Arthur's thing. You know, I'm gonna go a bit general. What makes you proud to be in the country you live in?
Oh.
Like, what about the country makes you proud?
Yeah. I got you. I'm just writing it down. Cool. What makes you proud to live in the country you live in? Interesting. I have a lot of thoughts behind that, being an American, so I will save that for a future episode. And yeah, man, we made it to the last question, the question that ties everything together. 500 years from now, our descendants are watching this video. What would you like to tell them?
Fuck. Don't look at my Instagram. That is very cringy. I'm a much better person, probably, maybe, in the future. Right now, it doesn't matter what I did. Don't worry. Just don't look at that. That's what I like about this generation. So I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent. That's what I like about this generation is that next generation, no one's going to be like, oh, I can just look at what you did, when you were alive, because like you have all these photos, and you've very helpfully documented it and gave Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos all your information, tagging all the locations you've been in. Meanwhile, like I don't have many pictures of my great grandfather. You know, I don't know what he looked like. And now, it's much more show it off. Just be good people. Do that. don't be bad, please.
I got you, man. You know, everyone has a different message for the future, and definitely, you know, if that's what you want to tell them, I think they need to hear that too. And especially if it's...
don't do drugs or space drugs, whatever you have in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, they might have something a lot different in the future. We'll see. Also,
put your seatbelt on as well. Sorry.
What was the last one?
Put your seatbelt on, or whatever your equivalent of seatbelt is. Fucking space belt. I don't know.
Let's put sunscreen on. Do all that floss.
Exactly. Floss each tooth. Remember the molars at the back. Very important.
I got you, man. I got you. Any last things you want to add before we head out of here, Parker?
I just want to say thank you for having me. This is great. It was a great pleasure to talk to you. And yeah, I really enjoyed what we did here. And yeah, could I actually come on again at some point? Is that a possibility?
Absolutely a possibility, man. I'll definitely let you know when like the next month scheduling opens up. But since you came on or you recorded in July, I'll probably let you know when September rolls around. Like give you like a month buffer to see anything has changed with you. You know, let life happen a little bit. And
exactly.
Then, we'll definitely get you back on though, for sure.
Great. Yeah. So yeah, thank you once again. I've actually finished my green tea, so it is the perfect timing. Have you actually drank any green tea?
I do. I drink. Well, I think tea in where you're from is a little bit different from tea where I'm from. But yes, I'm not a coffee drinker. I usually turn to tea more for my not caffeine but energy or yeah. Any recommendations? What kind of green tea you've been drinking?
Oh, have you watched Dr. Mike Warshawski? Dr. Mike on YouTube.
No.
He recommends green tea with honey and lemon. That's his recommendation. All the good stuff in one sip, and it tastes great. So that's my recommendation.
You've been noticing any differences since you've been doing that? Like drinking the green tea, honey?
Actually, yeah. I feel like I think faster. Beforehand, yeah. And like my grades have gone up significantly. Even like whilst I'm revising, it's just like I don't get bored as fast whilst I'm drinking it for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I've just got the image of Dr. Mike, and he's a doctor. And I'm like, I need to be that standard. He recommended this. He must be a good guy, some of that association. That
could be all subconsciously be happening for you. But yeah.
And I ruined it.
No. I was gonna say I'm gonna give it a shot as well, and if it works for you, man, it works for you. Like it doesn't have to be everybody's thing; it's your thing. But yeah, Dr. Mike, I'll give him props. I'll give it a try. If I start thinking faster, I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, man, thank you again for coming on. I want to thank all the folks out there. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever, checking this out on YouTube, appreciate y'all too. If you liked it, please like it. If you loved it, subscribe and share. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love, and we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. Peace.
See ya.
All right, man. So we made it to the end. This is, how there's like after credit scenes for stuff. This is my after credit scene. But yeah, any feedback, anything you liked or disliked about coming on? How'd you feel about it?
I absolutely love this. especially because it's the end of the day. You know, it's currently midnight. All the thoughts from the day beforehand have just kind of eased away as a cool way to relax. And yeah, I just kind of, I love the format, by the way. It's a shame it's an hour long, because I feel like we could talk for like multiple hours on end.
We could, man. We could.
Yeah.
It's always like, that's a difficult part for me too, because I want to hear all these things, and you know, I have to get better at my transitions. That's what someone told me, was like, because you know, we could be talking about something, and then all of a sudden I feel like I'm pressured to we got to move on to the next thing, and they haven't been so smooth, but you know, that's part of my growth process. So, but for sure, man, thank you for those kind words. I mean, because you're out there, I gotta ask, are you a Ted Lasso person? Have you seen that
Ted
show?
Lasso?
Yeah, have you seen that show yet?
No.
Have you
What's
heard of
that?
it?